Most people are looking for a magic pill for success, but the truth is much simpler and much harder. This is the story of a man who had $0, zero prospects, and zero hope until he discovered a single 120-minute window of time. In just 90 days, he went from a struggling security guard to a leader in his field. What he did in the darkness of the early morning will shock you, and it's likely the exact blueprint you've been searching for. In an industrial town where the rhythm of life was dictated by factory whistles and gray skies, lived 32-year-old Thomas. By all traditional measures, Thomas was a ghost in his own life. He worked as a night security guard at a massive distribution warehouse. His day began when everyone else's ended. At 8 p.m., he'd clock in. At 6 a.m., exhausted and drained, he'd trek back to a cramped one-room apartment. His reality was bleak. A flickering light bulb, a mattress on the floor, and shoes that had seen better years. But the physical poverty wasn't what hurt the most. It was the stagnation. As he walked home every morning, he watched the world wake up. He saw families sharing breakfast through glowing windows and professionals in crisp shirts heading to offices. He felt like he was living life in reverse. Thomas wasn't lazy. He walked 4 miles a day and stayed hyper-vigilant on his shifts, but he realized a painful truth. Hard work in a dead-end cycle is just treadmill running. You sweat a lot, but you don't move forward. Every door he tried to knock on was locked because he lacked the right credentials. He wanted to learn, but after 12 hours of patrolling, his brain was mush. The breaking point came on a cold Tuesday. A phone call from his sister changed everything. Their mother had collapsed. The diagnosis was simple but devastating: exhaustion and a lack of resources. Standing in a quiet village clinic at 5 a.m., looking at his mother's worn-out hands, Thomas felt a surge of productive anger. He realized that if he didn't change his trajectory, he was looking at his own future in that hospital bed. He whispered a vow to the dawn: no more. Have you ever felt like you're working 10 times harder than everyone else, but staying in the exact same spot? Thomas felt that way until a chance encounter on a 6 a.m. bus revealed the magic hours secret. It's not about how hard you work, it's about when you work. If you feel stuck in your career or finances, this secret is your exit ramp. On the bus ride back to the city, Thomas spotted a man who looked like he belonged in a boardroom, not a public bus at dawn. It was Mr. Sterling, a local entrepreneur known for his success in the tech and retail sectors. Despite his wealth, Sterling looked refreshed and peaceful at 6 a.m. Thomas, fueled by a rare spark of desperation, asked him, "Sir, why are you out so early?" Sterling smiled. "Because I've already finished my workday before the world has even poured its first cup of coffee. I use 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. to build my empire. The rest of the day is just maintenance." When Thomas explained his grueling night shift, Sterling didn't offer pity. He offered a strategy. You're stuck because you're sleeping when the world is moving and working when the world is dreaming. You're out of sync. If you want to change your life, you need to reclaim the magic hours, the time between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. Thomas protested that he needed sleep. Sterling countered, "Then sleep from 7 a.m. to noon. That's 5 hours. It's enough to survive while you build. If you're serious, meet me tomorrow." A day later, they met at a cafe. Sterling sketched a house on a napkin. "Your life is falling apart because you have no foundation. The hours from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. are your foundation building time. That's 14 hours a week. In a year, that's 730 hours. That is the equivalent of adding 3 full months of productive time to your year that your competitors are sleeping away." He gave Thomas a 2-hour mandate. Hour 1 for building a high-income skill, and Hour 2 for sharpening the mind and body. "The first week will feel like hell," Sterling warned. "Your brain will scream for the snooze button. But if you give me 90 days, you won't recognize the man in the mirror." Success isn't an overnight event. It's a 90-day biological rewiring. Thomas committed to the 5 a.m. club, and while the first 20 days were pure agony, day 21 changed everything. If you've ever started a habit and quit, you need to hear how Thomas pushed through the wall of pain to land a life-changing promotion.
Thomas's journey began in the trenches. The first week was a blur of headaches and heavy eyelids. At 5 a.m., while his neighborhood was silent, he sat in his dimly lit room with a borrowed laptop. He chose a skill that every business needs but few master: data analytics and bookkeeping. He watched tutorials on Excel until his eyes burned. He practiced formulas while the sun began to peek through his curtains. At 6 a.m., he forced himself into the crisp morning air for a 30-minute jog, followed by 30 minutes of reading. By 7:30 a.m., he'd crash into bed, sleeping until his night shift began. It was lonely. It was exhausting. But around day 20, something miraculous happened. He woke up at 4:58 a.m., 2 minutes before his alarm. His internal clock had shifted. The formulas that looked like gibberish 2 weeks ago now looked like a map. He didn't just keep this knowledge in his room. During his night shifts at the warehouse, he started applying his new skills. He noticed the inventory system was a mess, prone to errors and delays. Using his magic hour training, he built a digital tracking sheet that replaced 3 manual locks. By month 3, Thomas looked different. He had lost weight, his posture was upright, and he spoke with the quiet confidence of someone who knew something others didn't. When the warehouse manager saw the efficiency of Thomas's new tracking system, he was stunned. "Where did you learn to do this?" he asked. "Between 5 and 6 a.m., Thomas replied. On day 87, the opportunity arrived. The company was restructuring its logistics office. They needed someone who understood the floor but had the technical skills to manage the books. Thomas was the only candidate who fit the bill. He was offered a daytime role with a salary that doubled his previous pay. The cycle of the night shift was finally broken. Thomas went from a mattress on the floor to leading an entire department, but he didn't stop waking up early once he made it. Why? Because success isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. I'm challenging you to join the 5 a.m. club for the next 90 days. Are you in? Here is exactly how to start tonight. A year later, Thomas was the lead accountant. He had moved his mother into a comfortable home and secured her the best medical care. But if you visited his apartment at 5 a.m., you'd still find a light on. He wasn't working for his boss anymore. He was working on his next level. "Why do you still do it?" a colleague asked. "You've already won." Thomas smiled. "I don't wake up early because I have to. I wake up early because that's where the version of me I want to become lives." Thomas's story isn't a fairy tale. It's a testament to the compounding power of discipline. Your life doesn't change by wishing or hustling 24/7 until you burn out. It changes by claiming a small window of time and defending it with your life. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is often just 2 hours of focused intentionality. While the rest of the world is reacting to notifications and emails, the 5 a.m. club is creating. Here is your 90-day challenge. The alarm rule. Set your alarm for 5 a.m. tonight. Put the phone across the room. The skill choice. Pick one skill, coding, writing, finance, and dedicate the first hour to it. The evening trade. Trade 2 hours of mindless scrolling for 7 hours of high-quality rest. If you are ready to take control, hit the like button as your digital signature. Comment below with the one skill you are going to build starting tomorrow. Let's hold each other accountable. Your future self is waiting on the other side of that alarm clock. Don't keep them waiting any longer. Success is a daily practice, and yours starts at 5 a.m. tomorrow.